Hello everybody. How are we all doing? I'm hoping very well. I'm just gonna try and get that light. That's too dark. Or is it? Or is that a decent dark? I don't know. Hope we're very well. We have something serious to talk about today, so let's cut the music. Cut. I've been hearing words. I've been hearing rumours. I've been hearing people saying, I won't say a cursed name, but a name that I do not believe should be associated with Leeds United Football Club. And a lot of people seem to be trying to make the association between this name and Leeds United Football Club. That would be specifically Gus Hamer. It's become increasingly discussed round and around the place that Leeds United are interested in signing Hamer or something along those lines. And I've got to be completely honest with you guys, I think that would be a dreadful idea. And I think that for a good few reasons that we're going to discuss as we go through this stream/video, depending on depending on when you're watching. Why did I make that so difficult to say? But in the meantime, I'm also going to plug the Leeds Creator Cup, which was also mentioned on BBC Radio Leeds earlier today, thanks to Joe. But the Leeds Creator Cup is happening on the 20th of July as a charity match between all of your favourite YouTube creators that could be there. And it will be a very good time for a trophy. We've got a Man of the Match trophy. It'll be streamed online, but we would like as many bums in seats as we can because that is what raises more money for charity. It means that we can keep doing this event time and time again. £7 a ticket for an adult, £3 a ticket for kids. It's genuinely very good value. I hope to see as many of you as possible there. Links to the tickets are down below, and you can also donate any amount that you see fit to Prostate Cancer UK as well. Anyway, with that in mind, let's have a little bit of a chat on the Hamer thing. I'm going to see what the chat thinks, because the chat is coming in with a few early takes, including Potato from the Orange Raider, which is always the Orange Raider's take. Leo Breen saying, I absolutely agree with you, Joe. I just hope they stay away from Hamer. It's just rumours or agent talk. That's my hope. Lee says that it depends on the price. 12 million, I'd take him as a squad option. If they're talking 20, then no thanks. Michael Isle says big no. Matthew Smith is not against Gus Hamer if he replaces the Rothwell gap, but confirmed if he's our number one target for a 10. With Pat saying no, just no, and Michael saying that we're fishing in the wrong pond. For me, I've got a couple of issues with this, with the idea of this. And I'm specifically going to have a little bit of a chat with Jack on this one, because Jack seems to be the one that is firmly disagreeing here. I'm just going to try and faff with the lighting a little bit more just to get it a little bit nicely balanced. There we go. And I have a few very specific issues with Hamer. Right, so first up, yes, Gus Hamer, when he's on the pitch, pretty damn good. He's done reasonably well for Sheffield United, and you could see that when he came off the pitch in the playoff final, they started to have some more significant problems. Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that. But they very clearly had some more significant issues when he came off the pitch, which shows that he was like an integral part of the way that Sheffield United were playing at that point, and that's completely fair and fine, and I completely understand that. However, there are two simultaneous quite big issues that I have with Hamer. The first of which is mentioned by Stuart. The first of which is the fact that he's got those fitness issues. And they're not even sort of subtle fitness issues that you can sort of ignore, because the issue with Hamer is almost every match you will see him eventually just sort of taking a sit down, good few minutes, my knee's gone, my hamstring's gone, something along those lines. And I did the maths earlier in the week, and if I remember rightly, and I'm going to have to double check this just to make sure that I'm not like bullshitting or anything. Well, it was in all competitions, wasn't it? Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah. He completed about 75 minutes or less more than he completed 90 minutes in this last season, which just shows the number of times that they sort of relied on taking him off, which isn't really something that you can do. And the specific example that I'm going to bring up in this case is a lot of people will say Gus Hamer is fine. Gus Hamer is all good. He will probably do well for us in the Premier League. And you know what? Maybe. 10 goals, 8 assists in the Championship. That's nothing to sort of like shrug your shoulders at and say he's shit, because he's not. He's very clearly a decent footballer when he's on the pitch. But, and this might be where I'm getting a little bit defensive on it, I don't know. When I'm a person that 99% of the time has been in conversations with people around a different player, shall we say a certain Patrick Bamford, saying the best ability is availability, is the argument that comes my way, and the same person is saying that we need to sign Gus Hamer. That's a very, very big shout to make. That's an incredibly bold shout to make, because he clearly has a fitness issue, like for an extended period. And I'm not even just saying in terms of his shape, as Michael has implied, likes a drink or two and a kebab. But Sophie's got the nail on the head here. The best ability is availability. And the thing with Gus Hamer is you're not going to get the availability. And sure, 76 minutes a game started 36 games this season. That's fine. But a hell of a lot of the games where he wasn't able to do those 90 minutes, they lost. It's... Pat says, as much as I dislike him and think he'd be more of a liability than us, I wouldn't expect him to move just to be a squad player. He's been bigged up too much to believe otherwise. This is another point, right? And a lot of what the club has done recently in terms of signings is sign people with a fairly strong personality behind them before anything else. It's okay, I knew what you meant, but they tend to sign someone with a positive personality that is going to add to the club. It's roughly, because I'm outside the area where YouTube will automatically scan for things it can demonetize, it's the no dickhead rule. It's if you're playing 6-a-side and you're picking teams, you want someone that you want to play the game of football with, because that's nice, because it brings a good vibe. And from what I can tell about Hamer is, A, with his current physical conditioning, that tells me he's not going to be 100% committed. And B, if Hamer has been at a club like Sheffield United and been sort of bigging up the club and all that kind of stuff, which he has been, he's sort of been trying to like get himself in that position as like a cult hero or something over there. And the first thing that he does when he gets relegated is to move to another side. If you were to be in someone else's shoes last season, if you are, for example, Bournemouth, and you see Leeds United get relegated, they immediately sign Luis Sinisterra. Do you think, yeah, that's a guy that we definitely need right now? Or are you immediately going to have questions around his character? Like Jack Harrison, sure, could probably do reasonably well for us in the Premier League. The reason that I'm not fancying having him back is primarily around character, because he's someone that has proven himself to be someone that doesn't want to be here above anything else. Whereas Hamer leaving a club immediately after they don't get promoted doesn't scream strong character to me. That screams in it for him. And in my opinion, if we were to then get relegated next season, which there's a non-zero chance of doing, like we need to be completely honest about this. There is a chance that we go down next season. Is there a reality in which we keep him and he wants to stay? Because he's already proven that he wants to play in the Premier League and he's happy to force a move away to make that happen. So why would we put ourselves in that position for a player that has, yeah, a decent amount of quality, but very, very questionable levels of availability? I think all of the questions around Hamer are with pretty damn good reason. Like, of the last 6 matches of the season, he managed 90 minutes in 1. Started all of them. But he came off against Sunderland in the final with an injury. He came off against Bristol City in the 71st minute as well. That was in both the home and away legs. He came off against them. Against Blackburn last day of the season, came off after 59. He managed the full match against Burnley, where they lost 2-1. But then he came off against Cardiff on 84 minutes, and they won 2-0. Like, as much as I'm sure this guy has a decent amount of quality to him, it's the same issue as the Callum Wilson thing. for me. So the Callum Wilson thing. Callum Wilson, fairly decent player. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, constantly injured. And if that wasn't the case, then sure, maybe you get more tempted to sign him. Maybe you get more tempted to say, yeah, you can stick around because you'd be a brilliant addition to the side. And I think when it comes to the number 10 position, there are a lot of places where we can look to do better. And if we didn't look to do better, I'd be a little bit disappointed in us. Because clearly we are scouting all over the shop. The number of names that we've been linked with are ridiculous. And the names that we've been linked with that are better than Hamer are pretty evident. And if we were to just go elsewhere because, like, we know the name Gus Hamer, therefore we sign him, it feels like a mistake to me. Anyway, I'm going to hop through various comments and see what we're thinking. Send him on holiday with Bielsa, ultra fit, he'd be outstanding. I mean, he was born in Brazil. If we just sort of dance him across the board and make it Uruguay, ask if Marcelo can do us a favour. Maybe. Hello, Philip, and hello, Philip. Too risky, too fat, too injury prone, poor discipline, and a drinker. No, definitely no. That's an efficient way of putting that, I think. Strong title, I think a lot agree with for this one. Yeah, I mean, I've gone with no thanks because I've heard a lot of people doing various bits and bobs being like, would Hamer be a good addition? And I think the answer is a more significant no than anything, in my opinion. Doesn't feel it. We don't have a dead ball taker, corners, free kicks, corners, 30 million worth of gamble. But that's the thing. You don't necessarily need to pay 13 million pounds for someone that can take a free kick. Like, there's plenty of free kick takers around that don't mean signing someone who won't do much for the rest of the game, as far as I've seen. Like, whenever I've watched him, he's disappeared, which is a bit of a shame. But there's also this. I really don't think he fits the Farker squad. The way that our team works as a unit is one of your 9 or 10 has to be pressing, which is why towards the end of the season we would bring on Bamford for Aronson, because you could drop Pirou in as the 10, Bamford still does the pressing for you. And that's the balance in that regard. You've still got the press from the front. If you're playing Hamer Pirou, or if the striker that we sign isn't someone that presses all over the shop, then the system falls apart because you're just... Because I expect us to play a little bit deeper this season anyway. I'd like us to keep up with what got us up, because I think that is something that can transfer better than a lot of people give it credit for. But I feel like we would run a very, very, very silly risk if we were to go Hamer, Pirou, or Hamer, non-pressing forward. I do think we'll get someone young, someone energetic. Van Aert, for example, would be fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to catch up with the comments, which means I'm going to miss a few. My apologies, guys. I don't think he's got a good attitude. Seems like a prick. I mean, maybe. Thank you, Philip. Also, if you haven't yet, I'd hugely appreciate you popping a like on the stream or subscribing if you haven't yet. Because on the date of the charity match, which is going to be the 20th of July, I'm going to donate as many pennies as I have subscribers. So at the moment, that would be, let's hop over to YouTube Studio and find out. That would be another £61.17 on top of all the other various bits and bobs that I'm doing. If you guys can push it higher, you can A, cost me money if you think my opinions are stupid, or B, if you're a person that doesn't think my opinions are stupid, then you agree that Prostate Cancer UK is a very good cause and you should subscribe. If you could sign any Premier League player within reason and realistically, who would you sign? Oh, that's a really good one. It's a really good one. Can't remember who was coming to mind then. McAtee. Why not? I think he's got a lot in him. There are better championship options as is in Redoni. The thing is, I don't think we even need to look at better championship options. We've got better everywhere options. Like, there's a world of football out there. You don't need to stick to the 24 starting number 10s in the championship. Since 2020, Hamer in every season's played 3,000 plus minutes and also 40 plus games. Not my first choice, but a good player. I don't know. Has he played that much this season? I did not know that about the minutes. But he's played very few 90s. I think that's what's throwing me a little bit on it. So he's played technically 41 matches, but turning that into 34 minutes worth, 34 90s worth of minutes, come on, words, is what scares me a bit because I think we need reliable next season. It's like the anti-Aronson. If they had a baby, it'd be one heck of a footballer. It'd either be one heck of a footballer or it would be the worst footballer you've ever seen. No middle ground. I don't think we do because I feel like Greenwood is gone. I'm absolutely convinced out the window. Do I think 49ers and Red Bull are going to sign players for us from left field again? They seem to work secretly. I think there's definitely a lot going on that we're not going to see until it happens, which is stupid phrasing, I'm aware. But yeah, I think they're playing the sneaky game again, which is quite good. I don't think it's worth it. We can get much better players for free or from different leagues. Different leagues, I agree, for free is very tricky. Very, very tricky. That's the thing. I think with James Ward-Prowse, you're bumping into a similar issue where he's had a lot of injury issues. And at the same time, yeah, he's got decent set pieces, but what's he doing for the rest of the match? I've never hugely rated Ward-Prowse. This is a push. If we really think that we can multiply my subscribers by 9 in the transfer window, go for it. I absolutely back you guys to do it. But I feel it is unlikely somewhat to a certain degree. But it'd be nice. He played 38 in the Prem. Did he? No, he played 36. Started 34. Has a decent amount of quality as compared to what we're going from top dogs in the Championship to survival mode in the EPL. He guesses out after 70 minutes, can't be relied on. Yeah, this is where I'm sitting on it. Because, yeah, he's got a decent number of matches played, but he's not getting through all of those matches. If he got on to be else, I don't know. I think he might. I think he'd feasibly Samu Saiz it. Get to the point where, okay, wait, now I need to put the effort in. Okay, I'm out. Can I have a loan to Getafe? I can't remember. I don't see that being a thing. I'd rate the unused Prem players before looking at the Championship. Yeah, which is why on the Simicast thing that I'm still convinced is happening. I don't mind that. Because if you're looking at players that are second choice in top 6 sides, they're not going to be bad players. They're going to be better than any Championship equivalents at the very least. So you've kind of got to do that, in my opinion. Like if there is a move available, you've got to take it for those unused Prem players. Example, because someone mentioned that Simicast can't be that good because he's only second choice at Liverpool. Marmoush isn't first choice at City, but he'd get in our side. Same for Grealish. Right, let's scroll down a bit. I understand a lot. No, he's not. Let's be honest. Yes, it's the only downside with him and injuries. I missed that one. Why does Gus Hamer and Soucek's meant to be better recording some? They're playing completely different roles, don't they? Do they? Is Soucek a 10? God, I've missed so much of the Premier League this season. I've got no idea. First choice would be Longstaff. I don't know. Holy, thank you very much for the super chat, Burkus. That's massively appreciated. Cheers. Oh, it gives me the warm fuzzies when people do that. Like, oh, I'm worth your time. Hamer's agent's a Leeds fan who is also Jaden Bogle from the YEP. Yeah, but that's something that we want to sign him. There might be a moment of being like the agent being like, let's have some conversations about this, but that doesn't mean the clubs have to go, yeah, actually, we'll make a deal. Because if we don't want to make a deal, we won't. That's what I go with. Just clickbait and agent talk. It may just be agent talk, but this is more a stream responding to the people that are saying, yeah, we need to sign Hamer. And I've seen a couple of people saying that. And it's like, well, do we? Or would that be a massive mistake for us to do? I'm leaning heavily towards that it's a mistake camp. because I feel we can do better, and I feel like we should do better. If Simicast does happen, you may get to 50k. I do not believe so, because what's happened is I did the Simicast thing, and I still 100% believe that is going to happen, but it's been too long since that, which means that a lot of people will be like, "Oh my god, this is new news," and it's like, "No, I reported this a month ago, guys. Please." Suspect that 3 or 4 deals already sorted. What's just Simicast? Simicast. Been planning for this situation for months. I wouldn't want Hamer. He's got no stamina, less about 60 minutes on the pitch. Yeah, it's his lack of durability that I think does him in for me. Like, I'm just generally, I wouldn't mind him if he felt like he would do better for longer. Like, he's good, but is he good for a full 90? I think Hamer to Everton's more likely. That's a wild shout. Decore is free, Premier League proven, could possibly already have a connection with the next striker. Everything I've heard on Decore says to me that it's more likely to be a Saudi move than something in the UK, because the numbers around his wages that have been part of the conversation, nuts. So that's the general vibe that I get on that one. I don't think I'm Buendia. I don't think Buendia. Again, I quite like Spurtjan. I wouldn't mind McAtee. There's a few. Move away from Blackburn. I don't live in Blackburn. I live in Blackpool. Move to Leeds. I've lived in Leeds. Change your surname to Leeds. No, I like my surname. It's my surname. A pre-contract sort of thing. Yes, if someone has less than 6 months on their contract and they're not part of the same football association. So for the past 6 months, in theory, we would have been able to sign anyone on a free contract from abroad, in the same way that anyone from abroad would have been able to do junior FURPO over the past 6 months. We couldn't from any other English clubs. That's in order to protect English clubs from each other. But those are the rules. You can do a pre-contract agreement. Baron Cross, I believe, is now doing that role. Have we got this led Jack Harrison in? Sorry, I don't know what went over me then. Wilson Piru, not Wilson. No. Because again, back to the conversation that we keep on having around various players, and like, we need someone who's available for us. Callum Wilson played 370 minutes last season, averaged about 20 minutes a match. He's not got the fitness for it anymore, and I think signing him even past that point is horrible and risky, and probably McAtee on this one. Have you seen the giant list of free agents I think I saw on The Athletic the other day? Would you take it on? No, but I'll have a look. The Athletics free agents 2025 summer window. Let's do a big Google, get all the details you can. Right, Arsenal, Jorginho, Thomas Partey, absolutely not, for various reasons that I'm not going to say out loud, but you all know what they are. I'm sure you can agree on signing players now, but can't officially sign till the window opens. Yeah, you can make agreements right now. It's just you can't officially register them as your player until the window. Hello, Scooby. I can't see Leeds committing to any incomings till after the big game on July 20th, just in case of the hidden dread. That's the thing. I mean, we've got a couple of new signings for the Creator Cup as well. So when it comes to it, I mean, you got a big, complicated conversation to have, you know? I mean, who will the Yorkshire Roses even sell to Leeds United, or would we hold out for a very, very expensive fee, like letting us play at Elland Road next year? Who knows? He's worked his magic with Solomon and Byram. I don't know if he needed to work magic with Solomon. I'm not sure. Predicted goal tally for Piru in the Premier League. 6 is what I'll go with. It ain't easy to score in the Premier League. 5 players in the Premier League game only play 60 minutes. No, they don't, though. Because it depends how you use your subs. And if we're using our subs like Daniel Farker is, well done, you've taken away the option to use any other substitutions. Well, you've lost one of your 5 subs just by having Gus Hamer. And that's assuming that you're starting him, and if you're not starting him, why is he coming in the first place? I'd be tickled endlessly if we got Paxton Aronson in for nothing other than the reaction of the fan base, and I won't apologise for thinking so. How has Paxton Aronson been doing anyway? Is he in Austria now, maybe? Oh, is it Utrecht? Is he? Shit. Not to hit you with the controversial opinion, right? But top 2% of midfielders for non-penalty goals. Top 20% for assists. All I'm saying, Paxton Aronson, he's right there. If Hamer's at the right price, 10 to 15, then yes, an upgrade. He's not. I don't think he's an upgrade in Aronson. Very, very genuinely. So, Gus Hamer, right? The player that Sheffield United relied on at so many points and pulled the strings and all that kind of bollocks. 9 goals, 7 assists. Brendan Aronson. If it wants to load. We'll find out, won't we? Give it a sec. We need to score 56 next season and not concede any more than 52. That should be those are such specific numbers. Brendan Aronson scores 9, 2 assists. So he's got fewer assists. Fine. But the stuff he does off the ball is so much better than the stuff that Hamer does off the ball. And I think we tend to miss that because it's not the shiny stuff that everyone sees or particularly wants to see. And it's often the more important stuff, the things that you're doing off the ball, because that makes sure that you are winning possession back and you're able to turn it into opportunities. Because the amount of stuff that we would do transitionally and the number of sort of slick moves that we would do that wouldn't have Brendan Aronson at the end, but he'd be a key cog in that machine, is ridiculous. And I think out of possession, him being that much more valuable means that he's also more valuable over in the Premier League, because we're not going to have as much possession next season. So someone like a Hamer is going to have less value to us. Not wanting to make you throw it, but Farker might want. I'm not finishing that sentence. Is an upgrade on Rothwell? Ish. And I know that one's controversial, but ish. They'll find it difficult to hold on to the better players in the second year in the Championship, as we found out. They will, but I'm sort of wondering who specifically goes. That's going to be a pretty complicated one. So I'll have a look at their squad. The player that I would most want from Sheffield United, and I mentioned it on a stream recently, where I went through all of the Premier League clubs and the 2 that were in the playoff final, and I mentioned who I'd want from each. If I'm getting a midfielder from Sheffield United, I'm probably getting Vinny Souza. Just because he's so much crunchier in the tackle. He's so much better out of possession, off the ball. And yeah, he doesn't have huge goal returns, but that's not his job. And what he does excellently. I've really enjoyed watching Vinny Souza last season. How many players do you see coming in the first transfer window, June 1st to the 10th, and who? I'm going to say 2 or 3. Left back, I'm hoping Simicast. Goalkeeper, maybe a 9. It wouldn't be the full side, though. Not the full set of things. Did I hear today that they had unofficially made 3 new signings set in stone? I know they've triggered the release clause for Cunha. I don't know what else they've done. I'm in the same shape as Hamer. Can I play? I mean, maybe. You just made me so happy, thank you. Owned by Eintracht Frankfurt was on a season long. Oh, right, I get you. Okay. What players would you like Leeds to sign? There's a few. I'd like Simicas in. I'd like Solomon in. I would like goalkeeper, fairly sharpish. Peretz, I quite like. Kelleher is obviously up there as one of the better options. But I'm not sure. Amadodzic is a good centre-back, to be fair to him. And he wouldn't be a bad get. He's up there, I think, for the ones that I would want from Sheffield United. Michael Cooper wouldn't be a bad pick either. But again, it's getting him out of that club that quickly. Not a lot of thought went into Piratelli's 6 goals, reckon double figures, with caveats he takes pens and not stroke. I am hitting it with the caveat of What was the specific thought that I was having? Um, he's not going to play every match, is my main thought. And teams that struggle in the Premier League tend to not have people that get into double figures. So I can't personally see him doing that. But looking back on previous seasons, it's a goals game with the outlier of Bournemouth. Those that stayed up returned half the goals from the previous season, less than double those conceded. Yeah, but I don't. There's a fly in front of me. I mean, it's a fair point, but at the same time, we're not going to need a positive goal difference to stay up. Like, if we had a positive goal difference, we would stay up, absolutely. But we don't need it. And that's why I think I disagree with your numbers. What do you want Beto as that 9? I think Beto wouldn't be a bad option because everyone keeps saying the words Premier League proven. Currently plays at Premier League side, scored a decent amount of goals. Personally, I would prefer Van Aert over at, is it Kiev? I think it's Kiev. Just because I think he's got a higher ceiling for me than Beto. And I am still someone that thinks buying for the future is a good idea. Because although we do need to buy for now, we need good players at the moment to help us stay in the Premier League. You're going to need players for the future. Because at the end of the day, the players we bought for the future when we were in the Premier League were the ones that got us out of the Championship again. So it's good long-term planning. Also, we've got over 130 of you in here and 52 likes. I hate doing these bits. You know what I'm saying. If you've not liked the stream, please do so. That's massively appreciated. Helps the channel a lot. And also subscribe if you're not yet, because that helps the channel even more, and it indirectly gives money to Prostate Cancer UK, which, you know, is a pretty damn good thing to do. I think 9 are over for Peru this upcoming season. It depends on how many minutes he's got, to be fair. And I've not seen enough on Promise David recently. I should probably look into him a bit more. I'm also in that fun little spot of, because there wasn't a football manager last season, being the game, not just the concept. Although a lot of people will say, yeah, Leeds didn't have a manager last season. There wasn't a new football manager game last season, which means that I'm way behind on like the up and coming players. But Promise David is one hell of a name. I have also just gotten a message from the website Team Talk. Well, not the website Team Talk, from Football League World, asking a question to be put on a website. So I'm going to answer that on stream. It's great. And if you guys want to have your say, please do so. The question is, Leeds are back being linked to Gus Hamer after Sheffield United stayed down. Do Leeds need to be more ambitious than the attacking midfielder in their search to upgrade the 10, or would he be a good fit? So, let's hop into it. Hello. Personally, for me, I think Leeds should firmly stay away from Gus Hamer. That is a big no thanks from me. The big concern that I've got around Gus Hamer is the fact that he has some fairly clear fitness issues, and whether that is just in terms of his stamina, in terms of his match fitness, anything in terms of in those regards, or it's actual issues with muscles and it's very, very rare that you can get a full 90 at full strength from Gus Hamer, which is only going to hurt you in the Premier League. So I think in reality, we need to be looking at potentially a higher level number 10, whether that's someone from abroad, someone younger from a top 6 side like a McAtee, or potentially someone at a Premier League club that isn't getting minutes right now. But for me, Hamer doesn't fit the way that Daniel Farke wants Leeds United to play, and I think would be more detrimental than he would be an advantage to Leeds United. Hope that's all good. Bosh. There we go. Have you ever played FM with a Moneyball skin? Tempted to start a new save. There's a Moneyball skin? Do you mean the Musterman skin? Because I've searched Moneyball skin and there's nothing. Oh, that is pretty. Might consider it. Over looking at Petrovic. I've heard a lot about Petrovic, and I wouldn't mind him. He's very, very clearly got a decent level to him. But it's a question of whether or not Chelsea want him. because if Chelsea do want him, then we potentially have issues because he's going to be really hard to get out of there because, as we all know, Chelsea's contracts are stupid. It's such a weirdly hard to spell first name as well. He's currently played 23 first-team appearances for Chelsea, which is a surprise. 25 years of age. Yeah, if we'd be able to have him, I would take him any day of the week. But keeping him is going to be a little bit of a struggle for me. And there's not been any real news around him for about a week. And the most recent actual news was Monaco wanting him. So it's difficult. Promise David, is it true? 6'5". Jesus Christ, I hope so. Scored 19 for USG this season. That ain't too bad. Oh, yeah, he might be. What a tall boy. I'll take any play from top six benches, hopefully. I'm going to guess you're a fan for McAtee, not McCatty. But I prefer McCatty as a name, to be honest. Not goal difference, just statistic. No, but you did say that we'd need to score 56 and concede not 52. So that is a goal difference of 4 at least to stay up. Like that's just numbers, isn't it? Promise David came to Leeds. I can't see Farker promising him regular games. I think another reason that Hamer is going to be a probably not is because I don't see us promising anyone any games because you're going to have to earn your way into the squad. Like you fairly consistently had to do so. But what points tally is enough to stay up next year? Let's have a very quick look at the past couple of seasons of Premier League football, shall we? I think it's going to be higher than the last 2 seasons. So this season, as you've said, 26 would do it. That's ridiculous. That's incredibly stupid. It'll be more than that. The season before, 27 would do it. The season before that, we went down. It'd need to be 34, 35. Season before that, 36. Then 29, 35, 35, 34. Yeah, I think you're looking 34, 35-ish. Just that sort of territory. It won't be as low as 26 if there are half-decent teams here. Jorgensen is Chelsea's number 1 or number 2 next season. That would be helpful. That would be very helpful in getting him out of there. And I hope so. Don't they have like 8 keepers? Yeah, they've got tons. But I think ahead of us in the queue will be Strasbourg no matter what, purely because they're affiliated clubs. And us getting him out of there would be very difficult. How do you see us adapting our style next season? I think a little bit happier to sit in a mid-block rather than do that higher press, which I don't mind. I don't mind that at all because it would be something that definitely helps us. There's a Peterborough player moving to Leeds because the player's father told me. What? What Peterborough player would possibly be moving to Leeds? Because they did not have a fantastic season. Is he still at Peterborough? Like, I'm not, to be clear, not believing this at face value. I'm gonna have to actually have a think on it. I mean, the only one that's a maybe would be, I mean, Poku was fairly good, but he's also 23 and still having not developed that much. Unless we're talking someone real young. No, I don't see it. I've got to be honest with you. Opinions on Kirstovic? I don't know. I've heard little bits about him. I've not heard much. have seen a lot of people basically laughing off the idea. Oh, never mind. This is the story that Nicola Shearer was putting out on Twitter. Little bit of context, and you might want to add this one to your list of known bad journalists. Nicola Shearer is renowned for being terrible. He throws everything at the wall in the hope that some of it will stick, and very little of it does. So I absolutely do not trust in that, to be honest. I wouldn't say 30 million plus, but that's because I think investing that much in a single position would be a little bit of a mistake. Think it'll be back high. Yeah, it will be. We won't need 40. Is Kepa an option? Kepa's maybe an option, but he's done reasonably at Bournemouth. It just depends on if Bournemouth want him, I suppose. Boyle seems to have gotten better since moving to us. Do we think we could improve Hamer at the same time as curing his fitness issues? Maybe, but I wouldn't want to rely on that. It's like relying on Scrooge to learn from the ghosts. It's not always going to happen. Look up Jones. It's not out yet. I mean, who Jones? What, Ricky Jade Jones? Because I doubt it. Like, happy to be proven wrong. But that's not the vibe I'm getting. Unless there's another Jones. No, I'm not getting that idea at all. Do you see Philpott getting a renewal? I think maybe, yeah. And I did another little bit of research into it because, again, people keep spreading he's been offered £150,000 a week number. Not a shot has he been offered that. Another little fun fact, that would make him the highest earning player at Aston Villa. For more context, not including Marcus Rashford, but his wages split anyway, I think. That's the amount of money that people are saying Leeds would be investing in Junior Firpo. We're not. If we make a move for him, it's not going to be for that much. You can actually strike the ball and he just knows how to chase the ball. Sure. But at the same time, what matters is where the ball ends up. And they scored the same amount of goals last season. And in terms of just chasing the ball, at least you know that Aronson is going to give a shit. And you can teach someone that gives a shit to get out of their bad habits. You can't teach someone who doesn't because they don't care enough to learn. And the issue around Hamer for me is attitude-y. I don't believe it is. This was more of a stream in response to the idea that everyone is saying that we should sign him. And it's like, I don't think we should. And I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation as to why. Because it would be a mistake. Until I see it on the Leeds website, I believe nothing. I mean, that's fair. But at the same time, like, there's conversations about things before they end up on the Leeds website. Like when I was doing news writing stuff, I managed to put out an article about us having gotten Javi Gracia as manager before it was announced because I heard through the grapevine that he was at the training ground, so do something on that, you know? Haha! No. An Italian man who isn't very good at his job. Mamadashvili, no. Alisson, I believe, is leaving at the end of next season. So they're sort of bringing up Mamadashvili to be the new number one at the end of that. As far as everyone that I know who has anything to do with Liverpool is aware. And that kind of all makes sense. I don't think we do go to a back three. I think that'd be a fairly silly move. I can maybe see us going into a more consistent central defensive midfield kind of thing, and then having them drop between the two centre backs from time to time. But I don't think straight up third centre back is a good idea. Look at Burrows, the left back should Firpo go? Maybe. But also there's Like, I would say that Tsimikas is better than Burrows, for example. Some of these rumours didn't be dismissed. Hollywood seen them on the back of a cereal box. I don't know what you mean. Soon I have Homer than Hamer. Hey, they've eaten the same amount of donuts. I'd take Cooper and Gold. Cooper and Gold wouldn't be a bad shout. Yeah, the three players that I would look at from Sheffield United would be Amadodzic, Cooper, Vinny Souza. Those three. I think Prague will be at it. I think we might be surprised at some key signings. That'd be the dream. Like some just star signings that we don't see coming would be delicious. As an English-born Canadian, I can promise you that Promise David would be a great addition. Again, I've not seen enough of Promise David. Jesus, those numbers. Sorry, he did that in 16 starts. Can we have him? Please? Pretty please? Pretty please? Could see us dropping the 10 deeper and playing with a sole DM with 2 box-to-box in front rather than a 3-back. Yeah, sort of a 4-1-4-1 kind of vibe is what I'm also maybe leaning if we change things, but I don't know if we will. Oh, yeah. If he's 6'5", sign him. Yeah, we'll just score from corners. That'll do it. With like Elvedi, Weigl, and Burkhardt. I can see Elvedi coming. Right. Anyway, I'm not going to go for too much more of a stream, but I am going to take us over to Questions Corner for a little bit of a natter before I end the stream. It's been nice to have a little bit of a chat. Jesse Marsh is the only issue with Promise David. It's fine. He's a centre forward. In that case, staying narrow is reasonably fine. 49 signings in the Championship been signed. He's not on the radar of content creators apart from Kamara and Darlow. Tanaka we knew about for a good while. Ramazani was admittedly a weird one, as was Solomon. Who else have we even signed? Piru we knew about ahead of time. I'm running out of players that we signed. There was conversation about Bogle for a few days before. Schmidt was out of the blue completely. Yeah, it's 50-50 a lot. Would I take Calvin back? Probably not, because he's going to want incredibly high wages, and for the same reason as I wouldn't go for like a Callum Wilson. They spent far too long injured last season. What are your opinions on Hamer? I only just joined. My opinions on Hamer are that he is someone that doesn't do enough work. In terms of his effort and output, it scares me a bit, so I wouldn't necessarily want to sign him. Like, there's a maybe. If he was able to get fit and able to prove that he's got the right like frame of mind for genuinely working and caring, sure. But I don't know if he's got that in him, which is obviously a little bit spooky. Kamara's a nice player. Kamara's all right, yeah. Our goals are a good defence going to get us more points next season? I would probably lean on the side of a better defence, but we've got a solid defence. Like, it does need upgrades, sure, it does, but it's not in a bad place at the minute. Like a pluck from Switzerland, I feel like a Viking, maybe pluck from the Danish, Swedish, Norwegian league. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. Seem to sit on their hands and we lose out on 4 out of 6 or 7 targets. I don't think we will. I think we'll get moving relatively fast. They were, to be, I mean, ish. Never known a World Cup set in 3 countries. Oh, get used to it, because the one afterwards is set in 6. The one afterwards, I think, is Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, or Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina. Either way, it's ridiculous. They put it basically. They've done it across 3 continents, so they can rig it so the next one has to be in Saudi Arabia, which is weird. Can you give me a play for an edit? Jesus. No, again, we knew Tanaka was known for like 6 months. God. Promise David. That's what we'll go with. Get Ronaldo's playing the World Club Cup, even though side not in the tournament seems to be at the moment. Are they getting Ronaldo to play in the Club World Cup? Because he'd need to move to a team that is in the Club World Cup. And I've not seen anything saying that he will do. Let's have a look. Imagine he ends up at Inter Miami. That'd be fantastic. Just him and Messi in the same place. That's the side if he wants to stay at Al Nassr or move to Al Hilal ahead of the Club World Cup. I don't think he would do that, though. I don't know if they've even got the space to do so. Oh, it was Infantino. Ronaldo might play for one of the teams as well. At the Club World Cup, there are discussions with some clubs. So if any club is watching interested in hiring Ronaldo for the Club World Cup, who knows? Yeah, FIFA doing FIFA things. Dear. Hey. Yeah, it's all over to mark 100 years of the World. Well, you say it's to mark 100 years of the World Cup. You could say it's to mark rigging it so it ends up in Saudi Arabia. But you can either play for PSG, Real Madrid, or some random team. I've got Al Hilal is the most likely of those, I'd say, because also Saudi Arabia. Barker made reference to the fact that the players Leeds signed were players known were prepared to take a risk on signing. You did a bit, yeah. But then again, at that point, we were championshipy rather than Premier League, so we had to do things like that. It's a bit different now. Tanaka must have some pull if you Leeds players have followed him to Japan. I think Tanaka's just generally well liked. He's a good dude. Like, no one's going to be mad about it. On the Club World Cup, is it fair that these teams get more money based on an invite towards their PSR? It's not strictly based on an invite. So what it's based on is your performances in international club competitions that allow you to qualify from your confederation. So, for example, and I know this because I was in 4 different meetings about the Club World Cup today, so I feel qualified to talk about it. So, for example, the UEFA clubs, Chelsea got in by winning the 2021 Champions League, Real Madrid the 21-22 and 23-24 Champions League, City on the 22-23 Champions League. And then it's based on eligibility, so you're only allowed 2 clubs from each country, and positions in UEFA's 4-year ranking. So it's quite a carefully looked at thing. So it's not some like willy-nilly invite, it's more of there is a structure here. It is a very deliberate thing. He's a bigger prick than Blatter. I think it's more that he's not even pretending to not be a prick. Is my thought on that, which is like, in a way, fair enough to you, but also stop being a prick. Seems a lot more Premier League after Tanaka joined. Yeah. Still spooky, but sadly not. There's no Yorkshire Roses at the Club World Cup. There are more players on the Yorkshire Roses now. Ho ho, mysterious, and the Peacocks. The order for shirts is going to go in a couple of days' time. On that note, if you have a ticket by the 31st of May to the charity match, link down below, then you are able to be in a draw to win one of the shirts. The only reason that I'm doing it so you need a ticket is so I know that you are there, because posting it will be an absolute pain in the ass. But if you can do, that'd be lovely. And I'll be drawing that on stream at midday on the 31st, which is, what month is it? Saturday. Midday on Saturday, I'll be drawing it. So yeah, get your Creator Cup tickets, and whoever wins the Creator Cup might qualify to the Club World Cup next time. Oh, who knows? A bit of a vague excuse, but thanks for the clarification. Yeah, it's a weird one, but basically it's rankings from confederation level based on results against other teams in international club competitions. It's a load of bollocks, but it's bollocks that sort of means something. Do you believe in the philosophy of Calvin being a homebird and only excels in Leeds? I think he only excelled under Bielsa, to be honest with you. I think Bielsa was the person that knew how to get him inspired. And beyond that, it's a significant challenge. Because he was also a bit naff before, and he was still at Leeds. And there was discussion around, do we sell him or Ronaldo Vieira? And it ended up being Ronaldo Vieira, and we made the right choice. But I don't know. Anyway, with that, I am going to bring the stream to a close. Thank you for popping along and watching. It's always massively appreciated. If you haven't yet, please pop a like on the stream. Get it pushed out a little bit further. It's always massively appreciated. Subscribe as well if you're not yet. That, again, also really helps quite a lot, as does becoming a channel member. It's $2.99 a month, and you get a bunch of videos early, stuff like that. And my channel revenue right now is all going into making the Creator Cup happen. So you're helping a charitable cause. On this one, nope, not quite yet, but we'll have to find out. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo, guys.